Hey guys, this Myth Week, there's an opportunity to win prizes.
Yeah, but not just one of you guys to win, but three. We have 3 bundle prizes.
And here's what you could win. The Myth Game, 10 card sleeve packs, a Clear Brigand, for whenever that little rat guy goes into the shadows, a Trickster pack, which has 2 models and the cards, and a Twilight Night pack with a single model and the cards. In order to win, all you have to do is comment on this video here on YouTube or on beastofwar.com or the corresponding post over on the Facebook page. Or you can do all 3 and triple your chances.
Really? That easy, huh?
That easy. At the end of the week, we'll be picking the 3 winners, and you guys will get awesome Myth bundles.
Hey guys, we hope you've been enjoying Myth Week.
Yes, it's now coming to a close. Tomorrow is the last day of Myth Week, but by no means are we finished with Myth.
Oh, absolutely not. No way.
On Monday night, we're hoping to do a kind of a live Google Hangout where we're going to be talking to the creators of Myth and putting your questions and stuff to them, and just digging deeper into where they're headed. We also have more unboxings, and of course, once we get Sam back from Game of Thrones, we've got some more games and stuff to play.
Yeah, Hodor's wart. We need him back.
Now, just to let you know that tomorrow there will not be a weekender. Justin is gone to a wedding. We were supposed to get an invite to this wedding. He'd been telling us for weeks. So, you're getting an invite, man. You're getting an invite. No invite came in. We cancelled all our plans and everything.
Oh, I know. I had holidays planned and everything.
Yeah, we cancelled it all, but he's away without us. However, what we do have is a nice, long, extended XLBS going out on the Sunday. So we're going to be getting together to put that together. I've got a load of cool stuff that I want to show off. Okay, one question that came up. Okay, so the title of this video is Myth, the Journey Continues, or something along those lines. And what things you can do and where to go next, okay?
Yeah.
But one question that came up on the Facebook was is the retail box, okay, the retail core box of Myth, is that the same as the Kickstarter core box of Myth?
And the answer is?
Yes, it is. It's exactly the same. For some reason, someone got it in their heads that the retail box had less in it than the Kickstarter box. What I think has happened is that the Kickstarters, I'd say a huge majority of the people that got involved in the Kickstarter got and invested in additional stuff. Because, like, for example, in future unboxings coming up, we have a bunch of additional things to show you guys, like the Shamblers. We have Solus to show off. We have Orkneus to show off. We also have items expansions and quest expansions. And these quest expansions are important because I'll be talking about those at the end of the show. And as well as that, there are a whole bunch of additional tiles, including these big bad boys here.
Yeah.
So
just as well you didn't stack that any higher, people wouldn't be able to see you.
I just stack it up in front of me. So yes, to answer that question, if you're picking up Myth at retail, it is exactly the same contents of the box as the Kickstarters. However, there is a whole bunch of other stuff in the pipeline that should be making its way to retail and stuff like that. On top of that, the guys at MegaCon Games have told me that they're running a sale at the moment. So I don't know if we've right now. I don't know if we've missed it or not. Okay, but if you go and check their website, there'll be a link here. They have a holiday sale where they have a couple of bundles at a really good price. So if you want to pick up Myth, now's a good time to do it. Okay, you got Myth. Okay, what's your next steps? Okay. Well, for me, the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to put a splash of colour onto the minis.
Which was a great move because earlier in the week we were taking minis out and you had a big plastic bag of greyness, and I looked at it and went, I didn't realise it looked so grey, the minis when they were together. Because very quickly you had the box out and changed it into something like we're looking at here. Exactly.
Now this is my I'm going to say attempt at putting a splash of colour.
Well, let me squeeze them all together. I mean, there's loads of them here. I mean, there's a horde of minis in this.
Now, the reason it came about is my first games of Myth with the crew here were played just with the stuff out of the box. Where I realized, I want to put some color on them is because the difference in these little guys here. Okay, so let me just move these out of the way just to show you. So these are two of the crawlers. Okay. Yes. However, the guys with the little green pustules are the ranged guys. They fire kind of acid attacks. Whereas these guys here are actually close combat guys. And it was very difficult in Grey to tell them apart because the general shape of them was quite similar. So I was having to kind of pick through them. Now,
this is very much the faces and bases approach.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And it's worked a treat. Because we had that grass applicator that we unboxed a few weeks ago.
The now legendary Flock box. We'll try and get a link to that video up in here in the corner for you to see that.
No, it'll be down there.
Okay, down there.
Stuff going up here.
Down there.
What you have to realize is your head is up here.
Oh, my head's here.
Over your head.
Well, see if we can get a link or a thumbnail to it there. It is the now legendary Flock box. Right. My thoughts on this are, we love board games, and there's a good chance if you're watching this, you love board games as well, and you like buying board games, and you like collecting board games, okay? None of us have the time, I think, these days, to sit down and paint it to the level that, for example, if you've been watching the painting tutorial, this is the miniature that Rama has painted, our resident painter. None of us really have the time to put that level of detail into a pile of monsters.
Let me just group all this back together. You'll notice in this group shot a distinct lack of heroes.
Yes.
Because this was all about getting the monsters painted up, and then we could spend a little more time on the heroes.
Well, you see, for me, right, I don't know about you guys and how you feel about these kinds of games, but for me, the heroes are the monsters. For me, it's all about the monsters. The heroes are cool and you get to do all the cool moves. But if the monsters aren't cool, the game isn't cool in my book, So what I did was I basically just picked up some primers. You can pick them up in various places, Army Painter, or in a kind of like a car body repair shop. You can get primers. Make sure you get a nice primer that isn't going to fill all of your details. Okay.
Sorry, very obviously you've gone for red.
Yes, this is a kind of like a red primer that you would find. It is an actual primer. You'll find it in car body repair shops. And I thought, do you know what? That's going to be perfect for the kind of insectoid side of the monsters. And it's went down really well. And I just gave them all a spray and then flocked. I decided I was just going to go with a flock on these with a static grass. And I used the flock box to apply it, and then just applied just a little bit of brown just around the base. It really was 2 hours did everything, including all the flocking. The thing you might need to do with some of the miniatures, and you'll see here's embed a little bit of green stuff putty just to fill up a couple of the gaps and stuff that are in the bases.
So is the grass is someone to sit on?
Yeah, absolutely. It worked well on the scorpion kind of guys. It worked really well on the little crawlers. I think you'll notice I did pick out a couple of little details on them. It really was just a few minutes work just to make it easier for me to be able to tell the ranged guys from the close combat guys. With the more Orknar kind of guys, I went with a different style of primer. This time I went for, if you go into your model shops, you'll find the likes of Tamiya and whatnot do little small primers. Okay.
Yep.
And they will have them in kind of like military colors, like olive greens and things like that. I picked a cool green that I thought would make a nice flesh color. And the beauty of it is it dries very matte. Okay. So whereas I get a little bit of a sheen off the one from the car body repair shop, the actual model spray dries matte. And I think that works really well.
Because it's got a carapacey sort of shine to it for the little insectoid.
That was exactly what I thought. And then finally, I had a can of an Army Painter, one of the kind of the Army Painter browns, and I just sprayed that guy with the brown. Would I take it any further than that? Probably not. I might come back to it. You know, if this was the only board game that me and my gaming group were going to play for the year, maybe every other week or so we'd get together with a few paintbrushes, a few paints, and just continue to add details, get more monsters and spray them up.
I don't think it took you very long to pick out some little details.
No, absolutely not.
And it starts to make it does start to make a good difference.
It does. But if this is just one of a number of games and stuff that you like to play, I think the base coat, details to help you tell the difference between key monsters, and then using something like the flock box to give you your base.
Which worked well, because when you said you were going to flock them, I thought, is this not a dungeon tiles game? Mm-hmm. Now, there are some tiles where there's grass and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it might look out of place, but seeing them here, it's fine.
Well, so long as you don't use a flock or a static grass that's too bright or too long, okay? If you can get a nice kind of subdued static grass and make sure that it's quite a tight static grass, it will blend. It's just there to add a texture that's different from the model itself.
Yeah.
So there's my recommendation for if you want to start taking steps towards bringing your games to life, because this applies to all kinds of dungeon crawler type games, not just Myth. But I highly recommend doing it. I think you'll find that base coat and base is enough for you to really start to get a nice vibe of the game, that all your miniatures aren't grey and they don't all have that same kind of colour and texture.
Yeah, well, it makes it look better than Hero Quest. Because when we were younger, Hero Quest all comes in different colours to begin with.
Yes.
But you have it when you're younger to paint really badly. Oh, just slap some green on here, and then before you know it, you've got like shiny orcs and all sorts of stuff going on.
It's about picking the right tools for the job, and primers and basing, I think, is the way to go. Okay, so what next? You've been watching our kind of interviews and stuff like that with the creators. We've been looking at the heroes, we've been looking at the monsters, we've been looking at the darkness, trying to explain the nature of this game. We've also had the how to play videos there as well. But Myth has a great community that is built up around it. So there's a whole bunch more stuff that's just sitting out there to be discovered. And before you even get to that,
are you going to educate us now? Are you?
Yes, I'm going to show you some of the interesting things that are out there at the moment. First thing you should do is head over to the Megacon Games website, where they have an updated rulebook. Okay, so things that needed tightened up in the rulebook are now available in that rulebook. If you've been following along the rulebook and you find the rulebook a little bit hard to follow, and I don't blame you if you do, because I also found the rulebook a little bit hard to follow at times, because the guys clearly had a method in their minds of how they wanted to introduce people to the game. But as with all games, some of us may just not get it first time round, you know.
When you're trying to break into it, it suffers from one of its key greatnesses, is the fact that so much happens simultaneously.
There's a lot.
How do you explain to people how everything happens simultaneously?
Yeah, there's a lot that happens all at the same in the same phase, you might call it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of flexibility in the game. And sometimes when you're trying to get into a game, flexibility leads to a little bit of confusion. But there is another Skywalker. There is another rulebook out there, okay? Now this one is available on Board Game Geek, one of the most fantastic community of board games in the world. And if you go on to Board Game Geek, one of their community members has put together an alternative unofficial rulebook. Okay,
he's rewritten it then,
and he's rewritten a lot of the rules. He's restructured it in a slightly different way to take you through it, and this gives you an idea of what it is. You know, it starts.
So I like about
the heroes, the quests, etc.
Is the rewrite still looks really good? It's not like you're reading just a blank page with just text.
Yeah. No, he's went to town on it. So I would highly recommend you read it anyway, because one of the things that I've discovered in gaming is more often than not, the more times I'm told how to play something in different ways, the more I understand the mechanics and stuff of the game. So even if you haven't struggled with the rule book that comes in the box, and you may well have found it absolutely fine and got your way through it. Yeah. Even if you haven't, it's worth having a look at this because there may be things that you've missed and whatever, and having it explained in a different way, I think is a really cool thing.
The fact that this exists means there are some people who have not breezed through the rulebook.
Yes, yeah. So anyway, it's definitely worth taking a look, but also make sure you go to the MegaCon Games website and download the updated rules from there as well.
Just a PDF then, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, not only that, the guys from MegaCon Games have also taken some other steps. So another thing that you'll find is called the overview and walkthrough, okay? And it's a short PDF that actually walks you through setting up the game. So if you want to try and get that first kind of test game in, and this follows very closely to what the guys have been doing on the videos, this is definitely worth downloading. The other thing that's up there is the FAQs. Because there are questions. For example, how does poison work was a big one, and we ran into that as well. So all of those kinds of little questions that come up, go and check out the FAQ because they could be in there. And if not, well, either post in the bottom of this video, and we will try and make sure that it gets answered on the live stream, or head on over to MegaCon Games and post to those guys as well.
That's another nice looking PDF.
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem with you flashing these up is I just want to stop filming and go play now. Yeah. You know, when I see the monsters and stuff laid out, I'm like, oh, I want to go have a game.
Another thing that they have is a simple starting quest, which is based on the Highgate Cemetery, which is a story very close to my heart. You know, I love the whole ethos behind the Highgate Cemetery.
There's a cemetery or tile, isn't there?
Yes,
that's it.
Yes,
put on there.
So be sure to go and check that out. Now back to Board Game Geek, okay? Because it would be absolutely remiss of me to just mention the updated, the unofficial rules and not mention some of the other stuff.
Well, what else is it?
Some Beasts of War community members have also been feeding, they're also members of Board Game Geek, and there is a ton of stuff on Board Game Geek. I mean, tons of it. There's redesigned darkness panels and things like that to allow you to use kind of other cards or rework how you lay your gaming table and stuff out.
Are there any tiles?
There's people have been designing tiles.
I love that. I love it when a game like this breaks out and people just start making tiles.
Oh Lloyd, it gets better than that. Somebody has designed a computer program to create random dungeons for you based on the tiles and stuff like that that are available. The other thing that's in there is there's blank hero cards. There's kind of like blank monster cards that you can download into Photoshop and do up additional monsters. There's a real thriving community around the game that are doing superb work on giving you the opportunity and the flexibility to truly make this game your own. And the great thing about it was that's what the creators set out to do.
That's when a board game becomes a hobby in itself.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Finally, as I had said in at the start of the week, the guys from MegaCon Games, one of the things that we got a little confused about in the game was how the quests all linked together, because we were playing a quest and suddenly it was referencing something that we didn't have in the box. This is part and parcel of Kickstarter, and I think it's something that we're going to have to start getting used to in this industry, that the core box from a game that's going to come from Kickstarter is really just the starting point, because the Kickstarters, especially the successful ones, bust through so many stretch goals and gain so many expansions.
You see it all the time. Because we've achieved this and you've helped us do this, we're now doing this.
Yeah.
And then they're, oh, we've managed to do that as well. We're doing this as well.
This is the thing. It's one of the I suppose the beauties and the drawbacks of Kickstarter. For me, it's much more of a beauty than it is ever a drawback. But you will find that a game like this, in the traditional way, would have taken maybe 5 years, maybe longer, to get to where it got to in terms of the funding in that Kickstarter. So expansions and stuff like that are almost built into the whole plan from now these days. So what we found was we came up against a quest that we couldn't find the card to, and then when we contacted the guys from Megacon Games, they said, yeah, that card that it's referencing is an expansion. Okay.
Take note now, because if you missed our video earlier in the week, if you go looking for this card, you will look for a long time. So if you're looking for something and you can't find it, it's probably better to come to the assumption that it's maybe not in the box pretty quickly, rather than like us spend 2 hours going, where the heck is it?
Well, to help with this, what we asked the guys from Megacon Games if they could do for us was to create a diagram showing the kind of the quest paths and where those cards and stuff are, because there are 1 or 2 of them that are actually Kickstarter exclusives. So normal people like us are not going to be able to get those. Although I'm sure we could soon work them out. And what they've done is they've created this. They've got a PDF that you can download now that has all the quest chains in it, okay, which shows you where they go. So there's the Tainted Booty and the Silver Shard, the independent chapters and acts, and they also have a key at the bottom, so you can see story quests, chapter quests, act quests, and you can see what's in the base game, what's in Quest Expansion 1, Quest Expansion 2, Kickstarter exclusive, downloadable content, and future expansion. And then all of that is all marked up. So if you are into the quests and the storylines that they have, that the guys at Megacon Games have presented, and some of you, I'll put my hand up on this one, maybe or not, because I enjoy creating my own quests. I see this as a cool hack and slash, and it's an opportunity for me and the guys here. We kind of tell our own stories with this, and we're looking forward to introducing more and more monsters and different kinds of monsters that as our characters develop, the story is our story and it kind of develops. But if you're following along with theirs, this is an invaluable document to download and take a look through.
It's cool because I'm looking at DL for DLC, and one of the things I'd probably do straight away, so if I got this document, is look for all the little red DLCs and go, I'm going to go download that now.
Exactly. Well, guys, look, we hope you've enjoyed the themed week. We're not finished with Myth by a long shot. Like I said, we've got some more unboxings and stuff on the way, and we will be coming back to it as this game grows and continues to release new and interesting things.
Yeah, and remember, the week's nearly over, so if you haven't put a comment on a video, or all of the videos, go and do it to get in for your chance to win one of those box bundles.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 winners, and each of you are going to win a bundle. And currently the odds are very, very good. So you can put a comment on the video on YouTube. You could also put a comment on the video here on beastofwar.com, and we have a corresponding post on our Facebook page. So head on over there, like the page, put your comment in, and then 3 winners will be picked at random from all of that, and each of you will win a Myth bundle.
Yep, I think we're going to announce them next week on the Weekender.
We absolutely are. So again, just to remind you, no Weekender on Saturday. There will, however, be an extended XLBS on the Sunday. We're going to try and get together to do that. We've got loads of little show and tell stuff that we're going to be going over. So if you're interested, why not join Backstage? There's a free trial. Come on over and join us on the Sunday for XLBS. All that's left to say is thank you so much for watching Myth Week and getting involved and posting your comments. And keep in touch. And if you have any questions, post them below. Thanks, guys.
Have you finished talking?
I have.
Finally, we can go play.
Yes. Let's go get a game.